Post-secondary education is incredibly invaluable for individuals in our contemporary society. An undergraduate degree not only opens up doors to a countless number of promising careers for individuals, but it has also been proven to increase one's quality of life. Over the last half-century, however, the rapid rate of technological growth and evolution of the global workforce landscape has caused post-secondary education to become an absolute necessity. This sentiment is widely known and reiterated time and time again by many prominent figures in society, such as United States Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders, who said on the campaign trail,
"All right, let me talk a moment about something that I know everybody in this room, especially the young people, are concerned about, and that's education. I think everybody here knows that to be educated, intellectual pursuit, is part of what makes us human. But in addition to that, we are in a highly competitive global economy, and common sense suggests that we have got to have the best educated workforce in the entire world."
The stats speak for themselves. A post-secondary education is directly linked to a significantly lower unemployment rate, with the unemployment rate of high school diploma graduates being over double that of college graduates.
And yet, despite the fact that post-secondary education plays such a fundamental role in our lives and is so crucial moving forward, we students are being extorted in our efforts to pursue our dreams.
Look, the cost of a degree, and this I do know because I've read it in several reputable sources, has increased at over 500 times the rate of inflation since the mid-'80s. 500 times the rate of inflation. Nothing else comes close, not even healthcare. Healthcare is like 250, 260. Right. So this thing is an outlier. This thing, the cost of this thing has increased so exponentially, I can't believe it's not daily headline news. Imagine any other commodity increasing at that rate.
A new report from the Center for Policy Alternatives, a left-leaning think tank, suggests things are not going to get any easier for Canada's students. It tracks tuition fees over the past 2 decades and estimates where they will be 4 years from now. It says in 1990, average tuition and other compulsory fees came to $1,464. This year, they are $6,348, and by 2017, they will have risen to $7,437. Even adjusting for inflation, they'll have quadrupled.
It is a well-documented fact that tuition has risen exorbitantly for students in the past few decades, and quite frankly, it is an elephant in the room in the face of protesting students because absolutely nothing is being done about it. The problem starts with our tuition. On a very personal level, undergraduate tuition at the University of Waterloo is projected to increase by 5 to 9% for the 2016-2017 year. Like many of you, I am already paying one of the highest tuition rates in Canada associated with my program, and the constant increases, completely out of line from inflation, are only adding insult to injury. The problem starts with the institutions that we entrust with our education and our futures, who in exchange sell that trust to textbook publishers. Textbooks are often required for courses and forced upon the student body, and it's the sales of these textbooks that greatly contribute to the dilemma of rising student tuition.
It is clear that the insane inflation of textbook prices is an abnormality, with textbook prices having increased over 800% in the last 4 decades. This increase is incredibly out of line with the normal rate of inflation, and even beats out other widely used public economic sectors such as medical services. Diving deeper, the problem exists solely in the market in which textbooks operate in. The majority of every dollar from textbook sales goes towards textbook publishers. But it doesn't stop there. 5 publishers account for almost 80% of the textbooks sold to universities and required in classes across North America. Recognize any of these? McGraw-Hill Ryerson, Houghton, Mifflin Harcourt, Pearson, Thomson Gill, Wiley. This demonstrates a clear monopoly in the textbooks, and more significantly, the chokehold these textbook publishers have on university institutions and their very methods of teaching.
Furthermore, the reason why these universities have been given free rein to conduct financial operations free from regulation is due to the extreme lack of government funding over the last few years.
It's not as if education itself is any more expensive today than it was, say, 2 decades ago. Today's report says it's that governments are contributing much less, and so students are expected to pay much more. The report says that in 1989, government sources provided 81% of post-secondary funding. By 2009, that had fallen to 58%.
Education can never be a for-profit business because of how fundamentally it is important to the success of individuals. It is time to force institutions to abandon lucrative publisher contracts that place a heavy financial burden on us, the students, and instead encourage innovation and growth by adopting open source resources that can be accessed by anybody for little to no cost. At the root, education is something we experience together. We share knowledge from generation to generation. Now, this isn't all a socialistic elusive dream. In fact, fighting high textbook prices and making education more accessible make our country's workforce more equipped for today's market economy.